guys, you're welcome back again to my channel. Today let's prepare this delicious egusi soup using this cow skin, and I'm also using this beef. This is fresh frozen beef. I just left it in the fridge, that's why it's looking all clustered together. And I'm using this quantity of egusi, and I'm also using this stock fish and this dry fish, just one each, because as you can see the egusi is not that much. And I'm using crayfish. Of course, I washed this egusi with clean water, making sure there is no dirt or shaft. Then I blended it with 2 scotch bonnet pepper, that is the spicy atarodo pepper. I blended both of them together with water, and I washed the beef thoroughly with water and salt. I used some knife to scrape the back of this cow skin to be so clean, and I then seasoned it with beef seasoning cube and then salt. I added water, allowed it to cook on medium heat. I'm also using this ingredient. This is Ogiri. I'm using just one of it. This is actually very good for this egusi soup. If you have this Ogiri, don't skip it. And of course, just this quantity of crayfish, which is very important as well. And I'm washing this fish. This is the stock fish I'm using. You can use more stock fish if you have a lot of it. I just had this little quantity. You know, it's very hard to see stock fish here in Germany, and also very expensive. So yeah, I added it into the pot. At the same time, I cooked the meat and the cow skin together with this stock fish. I just cooked everything together, as you can see. I just stirred, and after that I separated the meat from the stock. This is the water from the meat I just cooked, which is the stock. So I added this blended egusi into the pot, and this is the egusi I blended, looking all cool and smooth. I allowed it to cook for a few minutes. After some minutes, you can see this egusi is becoming really thick and also cooking really well. So I just stirred thoroughly, making sure there is no burnt. And as you can see, guys, I'm using this wooden spoon because it helps this process a lot. So I just covered it and allowed it for a few more minutes to cook or boil. And after that, as you can see, this is looking better and well cooked. So I added palm oil at this stage. This is palm oil I'm using. You can add 1.5 tablespoon or full spoon to any of that, depending on the quantity of oil you want to add. So I just added this quantity and I mixed thoroughly, making sure everything blends together, and I stir fry and mix properly. After mixing thoroughly, I covered the pot and allowed it to simmer for a few minutes because, of course, I want the egusi to really cook well. At this point, you can see this egusi is looking better and it's cooked. So this is the point where I have to add the other remaining ingredients like the crayfish and the ogiri, which I showed you guys earlier. I already blended it, and this is the paste. I added it as well, mixed thoroughly. Of course, you guys know this ogiri add extra flavor to this soup. Earlier when I blended the egusi at the beginning, I showed you guys the 2 fresh scotch bonnet pepper, the atarodo pepper I used in blending the egusi, which is not just enough. So I added this fresh powdered pepper. I normally love adding different pepper for different taste and flavor. Most times I even add just some pinch of Cameroon pepper for its own taste. I just mix everything thoroughly, but make sure you check everything to know if the pepper is enough. But for me, as you can see, I added just half teaspoon of fresh pepper because I needed more. Then I added this maggi cube. This is the Knorr cube, just half of it. And then I added the proteins, which is the meat I cooked earlier. This is the cow skin, that's the bomo, the beef, and the stock fish I showed you guys earlier. I cooked everything together. So I at this point added it and mixed thoroughly, making sure everything blends together because they need to marry each other and donate all their flavors to one another so everything comes so well. After mixing thoroughly, I covered the pot and allowed it to cook further for a few minutes. And after some minutes, as you can see, the pot is looking cool and it has cooked well. I added water because it was so thick and I needed it to lighten up a bit. And I'm also using this vegetable. This is Uziza leaf. Uziza leaf adds its own delicious flavor to this soup. And if you don't have the fresh Uziza leaf like us in Germany, it's not available all the time. You can use this Uziza dry leaf, or you use the frozen one, which is also in the fridge. So either of them, you can use any. They all taste the same in the soup, you know, the fresh one, the dry one, or the frozen one, anyone you have available. So you just wash it and add to the pot. Baby, you give me ice and fire. So I added this frozen one and mixed thoroughly, making sure everything blends together. Even the little quantity of Uziza I added already, it gave the soup its own delicious taste, aroma. Everything was so different. It's not like the regular egusi you cook with other vegetable like ugu or spinach and all that. No, this Uziza is the best for egusi, and I recommend it anytime, any day. Even with little or not so much ingredients or proteins, your soup is still going to taste really delicious and, you know, different because of this Uziza leaf. And of course I dished it out and it was so yummy. And of course I enjoyed this egusi soup with different carbohydrates. And trust me guys, when I'm saying this is not a joke. I ate this egusi the same day. Everyone around me will enjoy this egusi the same day using normal swallow, which is the gari. And of course after that day we still enjoy this same egusi with another carbohydrate, which is rice. And the thing about the egusi is it was so delicious that it goes so well with anything, and you know, you can't just resist it. The taste is just different. That leads us to this topic between gari, fufu, or other semovita, which is best for egusi soup. And like I told you guys, this was the next day when I ate this egusi with rice. It was so yummy, like I couldn't even resist it. So, you know, you can eat it with anything: gari, fufu, semovita, pounded yam, anything. Anyways guys, just let me know which is best for egusi soup between the options gari, fufu, or semovita. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love you guys always. Bye bye.
Subscribe.